Up out of the championship either, is it, with the reshaping of the game as we know. We don't know how it's going to be, but you still want to be involved in this championship next year, don't you, to give yourself a chance?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and especially with the talk of the financial restructuring too, and potential, you know, income that can be generated from the further you finish up the table, then yeah, you want to be in the mix of having an opportunity to get your fair share.
So here we go, Simon Brown with the first kick of the night, putting it downfield. Swinton, of course, in their traditional blue jerseys with the white V. York in less traditional pink, mainly pink jerseys and black, as you can see. And it's Swinton with possession, and early touch for Mark Smith from dummy half here as they try to bring it forward through Glenn Riley, one of several players in this Swinton lineup who have Warrington connections. Either dual registered or once having played for Warrington but signed for Swinton this season. And we heard from Gary Chambers beforehand talking about the swapping and changing of personnel. What about this for a kick? It's gone too long.
No, out the full.
Watched out of play by Dougie Flockhart. So it's going to be a possession here for York inside the Swinton half.
Well, it's not his best kicker. Normally we see him nail those, don't we, Mark?
He's a great kicker of the football,
absolutely
Mark Smith.
Fabulous out of dummy half, but early pressure for York on the back of an untimely and uncharacteristic error from Mark Smith.
Well, we heard Gary Thornton saying his side haven't been in poor form. They've just been on a poor run of results. They've lost their last 6 games before this tonight. Whereas Swinton have picked up a bit of form of late. They got the surprise 12-10 victory over Featherstone a couple of weeks ago. And in the away game, so to speak, against Lee here at the weekend, last weekend, they only lost 32-22. So they picked up 4 points from their last 2 games, which at this stage of the season are very, very useful. Here's Nicholson, back from injury, long spell out. It's Lee who stands at dummy half. To his right-hand side, the big man there. And Nathan Freer off to Johnson. Johnson gets the hands quick away again, and York is setting up decent position here. It's Jack Lee at dummy half, looking to this left-hand side with a dummy. Swinton's defence ain't falling for that. So here we go, 5 tackles gone. This will be the last. Johnston out left, little grubber kick through by Simon Brown towards that in-goal area, but it's escape time by, is that Richie Hawkyard? Yes, it is. Richie Hawkyard's done well.
How many times have we seen him play well and play out the backfield, and another great carry from Rhys Williams on the back of the great clean-up work from Richie Hawkyard.
I think he's the only official dual registered player here. Tonight, Gareth Walker's keeping an eye on these kind of things, says that he thinks he's the only official dual reg player. There's a knock-on. And it's cheap possession back again here to York. Morrison with the slippy hands.
Yeah, well, they've certainly given York the opportunity early on, haven't they? And
on the cross.
It's certainly not going to help their confidence. I know they've been playing with confidence in the last couple of weeks, and so it's certainly not going to help.
Just a question for you, Hendo. I mean, winning's habit forming, but so is losing. And Gary Thornton can talk about the performance has been good, but they're just not quite getting the winners' enclosure. So that can tell when you're under a pressurised situation. You know, you tend to revert to type. So Swinton with a couple of wins, for me, probably will be a little bit more confident tonight.
Here's Lee. Johnston back on the inside for Nathan Freer to have a go, who just thought about the offload there, but keeps to hold. Well, it's an excellent position they find themselves in here again. Lee, Johnston, the youngster from Castleford, who's just trying to funnel it on, but the defence is good enough just at the moment. So here it comes again with Brown. And a step back on the inside by Sam Scott, but some rugged Swinton defending going on here at the moment. Scott's not going to get that one away. Plays it again. Oh, it's a high pass! And it might just have come off. Matt Nicholson, what a return for Matt Nicholson, out for an awful long time. And my word, the instincts he showed there. Cat-like reflexes to take that, and a very well-deserved try.
That was an eagle in the air. That was flying above his head. It ricocheted. Now watch this catch. This is a tough catch. Boom.
Good work, fellas.
Keep the eye on the ball. I think the height of it actually foxed the defender. Great catch, good finish. Hits the hole really well.
Cheers, Matt.
Well, boy, do they need that, don't they?
Well, it's a great start, isn't it, for the York City Knights? And like you said, it's what they needed. You know, let's say great line from Nicholson there, and it's his first game back in 3 months, and he comes up with a 4-pointer, which is a huge boost for the City Knights. But yeah, again, I mean, was that pass intended for him? I mean, it was rocketed out there, and like I said, above head height. I don't know whether the hooker was looking for a width pass there, but Whether he just misdirected or just put a bit too much power on, I'm not too sure there. But he done ever so well to collect that. Great skill from Nicholson.
Well, a little moment here for Tom Carr. Puts this over. It's his 100th point for the season. So he'll be giving this his full concentration right in front of the sticks. It should be easy. It is. Over it goes. So 100 points for the year for Tom Carr. And a goal that gives York that 6-0 lead in these opening stages. 5 minutes played. And Hendo, you played against this York team at the weekend, and they gave you a bit of a battle for a while, didn't they?
Yeah, they came out with some purpose in what they were doing, certainly in the first half. And I just think, I think second half they probably ran out a little bit of steam. Probably lapses of concentration at times. And this is, like you say, and I think when you're under pressure, it's important that you're disciplined in what you're doing, and you've got to concentrate for the full 80 minutes. And maybe they've got a bit of, remember, they're quite a young side as well, so there's quite a lot of youngsters out there. And they were missing Simon Brown from the weekend, who's probably more of a senior organiser and director for them. So he's going to be a massive boost from tonight and a lot of play what they do. But yeah, I think it's just lapses in concentration and things like that. It's probably going against them at the wrong times.
Well, the last time we saw York was against Barrow, wasn't it? And Barrow had lost their previous 6.
Yeah, that's
true. And on a memorable night, they got a win. So,
but if we forget that, if we remember that game, York started the game very well in commanding that game. But again, they basically invited the Barrow side back into it, and it was a great win for Barrow that night.
So Swinton having to work hard from deep inside their own half here to try and get themselves downfield. Picked up by Watson, helped on to Kevin Penny. And Penny slithering towards that 40-metre mark. It's to this right-hand side and Hawkyard, Darren Hawkyard. The ex-Slough man, as we always like to mention. This is Watson again.
Taking a drive up there, Watson.
Has he got angry, do you think?
I don't know.
Here's Mark Smith on the 6th tackle. It's put high by Craig Harvey and comes down with a spin on it, so Carr's got to be careful. He is. It's a good take from the York fullback. And it's York's turn to do the hard yards from only their own 20-metre mark. Here's Johnson again, little duck and a dive. He's an interesting character.
Yeah, he is. He's a little live wire, isn't he, Dave? He doesn't mind taking the line on, and he's got that little Rob Burrow duck as Elliott goes through now. He's made the half break.
George Elliott, terrific work.
Smart play from York. In the back of the wind from Johnson, Elliott takes off. Inside the ruck, straight down the field.
A galloping effort here from Freo. He's going to be put down only 20 metres away. Left it comes to Brown. We know how good a kicking game he's got, but not this time. Put the mockers on him a little there. It's an easy enough take.
He'll be disappointed with that kick, Dave. It was just a no-pressure kick, wasn't it? He either put it on the floor with a view to a challenge or put it in the air for somebody to climb up and try and reclaim the ball. So,
yeah, that close to the line, you want to put an attacking kick in there, don't you?
Great break from Elliott.
Yeah, nice.
George Elliott, we had to explain to Hendo before, it's not the George Elliott who wrote Mill on the floor. So he was a little confused, but we've cleared that up anyway.
You made him more confused now.
Here comes Sarsfield on that left-hand side.
You read books in Australia?
No, magazines, mate.
Exactly.
I think that George Elliott who wrote Mill on the floor was actually a woman as well, to make it even more complicated. Anyway, here we go. Here's Mark Smith from dummy half. 6th tackle will be the next, so the kick from Harvey again, that left foot trundling it forward. It's taken by Dougie Flockhart, the man who could well be playing for Scotland. The end of the year has lost possession in the tackle. The referee says it was fair enough. Only one in the tackle, and it was a clean drop. So it'll be head and feet for Swinton here.
Yeah, I think it's just a good contact, is it, there, Watson? And he kind of
not a knock on from Watson.
Well, he might have stripped this here, hasn't he? He pulled it back. Yeah, he has. He's pulled that.
Good call, and then he knocks it on Flockhart.
Chris Leatherbarrow, our referee. I don't think we've mentioned that, have we, tonight?
What's our ball in now? So, 2 hands next time.
Ian Smith, our video referee. Of course, if we do need a wise eye to be cast over things to say whether try or no try, Ian Smith is our man in the truck tonight to provide just such a service. But Swinton here are in excellent position. Mark Smith at dummy half, 20 metres away from that York line. Taken forward by Riley, Glenn Riley, the Cumbrian. Gets to his feet. This now is Watson. Watson up to the line and throws it back, and a little grubber kick for a chase here. Richie Hawkyard with a superbly weighted kick.
Yeah, smart play from Hawkyard there. He was out the back there. He saw that the winger, the York winger, was up in the line, and he just had the vision and the awareness to just thread it through the line there, put it in behind the defensive line.
Come on, fellas.
Well cleaned up, though.
Yeah, latest. He done well to get back there.
Did do well.
Pull that side. 26 marker. He's not score.
Smart football, though.
Take to it, marker.
So drop out.
Let's go. Come on, time back
from underneath the sticks. They will, as is their wont, take as much time as possible. Simon Brown with a big kick. Hawkyard has to backpedal, but catches safely enough. And here comes Riley again.
Surrender!
The youngster
Stand!
who manages to drive it forward with some impact. Morrison now, another who carries some weighty intent as he takes it on the second to within 25 metres of that York line. Little kick and a chase by Liam Hume. Here's Mark Smith again. Options left and right. He's going wide right here. Hawkyard into the line with a high ball over to Kevin Penny. Penny with a catch. But he's not going to go any further than that.
Line, wait, go.
How many tackles? Still a couple of tackles to go here. So it's still a terrific opportunity for them to have a real go here, Swinton. Liam Hume put down again. So Mark Smith on the last tackle, throws it back to Watson. Watson with a chip over the line. Up they go, the catch! It's terrific from James Mendeka. And he'll get the try that could put Swinton back level again here with a kick to come. We've seen 2 leaps for 2 tries. I think that was certainly intentional, wasn't it? Wonderfully weighted kick and a very good take.
It was a brilliant kick, but I'm just concerned that the York winger's really deep in the in-goal. If he's that deep, he has to come forward and dominate that catch, because Mendeka just gets in front of him and takes it out of his hands, and maybe could have done it with a little bit more help from Flockhart. They'd switched around, they recognised that that was the threat. They'd switched around the winger in the centre to handle that play, and they didn't handle it.
No, I totally agree with you there, Brian, and I think Flockhart, he actually stops and then jumps, you know, sort of straight up rather than, like you see, coming into the football, and he should have attacked that ball with more purpose. But you know, Mendeka won the battle there, didn't he? He was coming, he was chasing the kick hard, he leapt up high, and he said, "This is my ball." So error there from the wingman Flockhart. It's cost them the try.
They defended well up to that point, hadn't they?
Well, they were defending their goal line well. Everything that Swinton were thrown at them, they were handling. So disappointing.
Well, there's Harvey's kick. Harvey's kick's a good one. So 6-6 the scoreline. Interesting that Mick Nanin, who's on loan here, of course, from Halifax, not doing the goal kicking, but when Craig Harvey's kicking as well as that, it's no wonder. What have you seen, Coach?
I'm just saying, he didn't give himself a chance to get that ball, then he gave himself the run-up and never took off. Or if he did, you know, give full credit to Mendeka. He's beaten him to the punch and got in front, and it was interesting that Williams was behind him to clean up the spoils. How do you get a hand to it?
So here we come with a restart and a bundle forward again by Morrison. There's going to be stopped on that 20-metre mark. Hawkyard out from dummy half, and the other Hawkyard is the man who bundles it forward. Darren Hawkyard.
Good.
Richie, brother, is there again. Watson quickly hands it on. Well, he's dealt with. Mark Smith having a good look at that York line when he moved into dummy half. Just to pick the angle of attack from behind the 40-metre line. It's hammered downfield by Craig Harvey, but a safe enough catch by Elliott on that far side, and we've seen what he's capable of already today, but this time stopped well enough. It's Carr, I do apologise, Tom Carr, who brought it back. This is Flockhart now, Dougie Flockhart. 2 tackles gone, but still very much inside their own half by a distance here, York. So looking down this left-hand side to try and make progress, but
good tackle.
They were there to meet him, weren't they, in numbers. Sam Scott, one of your old mates, isn't he, Sam Scott?
He is indeed.
Played in the grand final last year, didn't he?
Release him.
You got him, mates.
Hold this line. Good work, Riles. Hold.
Use a
I thought you were my mate, Brian.
Ex-colleague.
I thought you were my mate.
Here's Freer, Nathan Freer. He's just inside that Swinton half. 6 tackle will be the next, so Simon Brown again with a big boot downfield, hoping to hit some grass here, but Richie Hawkyard's got across quickly to take the catch on the fall, and so he can run it back.
Good tackle.
Straight into the shoulder of Jack Lattis.
He covers the ground really well, doesn't he, Richie Hawkyard? You know, you think you might find some space, and he gets there, doesn't he?
Yeah, I like him, mate. He's all, you know, he's all systems go, isn't he? He's busy, he's probing, he's very brave as well. He doesn't mind putting his body where it needs to go, and that's what you want from a fullback.
Here's Williams making decent progress here, having brushed a couple off. He's having another go. Well, he's taken some stopping in the end. Here's Penny.
Both the wingers are not frightened to leave their wings and roll their sleeves up, are they? We've seen this on a number of occasions now.
Little dink by Watson.
Everyone's up.
Puts a bit of a spin on the ball.
Play on now.
Bounces safely enough for Elliott. Elliott running back has got Flockhart on this left-hand side should he need him.
One, race, move, mane. Good.
And this is Flockhart.
Two.
Handful of games.
Move, hold.
Contract till the end of the season now. He's got Dougie Flockhart.
Go, good.
Remember the story you might remember when we covered them last time about he's been put in here by Dave Rotherham. He's involved in the Scotland squad. Asked Gary Thornton to have a look at Dougie Flockhart as a potential Scottish international at the end of the year. There's a kick. This is a 40-20 if it goes, but Richie Hawkyard's across there.
Shot.
I don't think the ball would have rolled anyway, would it, in the end? But still a good kick.
Still a great kick if they get down there and make the effort. And both teams just a bit simple in their play. They're a bit nervous. They're not very expansive. They just don't want to make the error that might lead to the break. That
giving the other team the opportunity. But that's, you know,
that's nerves, isn't it?
It's nerves. It's that pressure cooker of being in a relegation dogfight.
Here's Mick Nanin on a good offload as well by Nanin.
Sometimes for me, you've got to chance your arm.
Good.
He's a player on a cusp of a little bit of history as well, Mick Nanin. If he scores 15 more points, he takes over from Kel Coslett as the 7th all-time leading point scorer. Not Championship or Super League, but all-time, going right back in history. He will be the 7th most prolific point scorer. Mick Nanin.
The ref should stop the game here. We've got a bit of an injury out the
back. Someone's down cold.
Here's Watson with a kick. Flockhart's going to take this. And the referee, I think, might stop it when his attention is drawn to the fact that there is a player down there. Yes, he is going to stop it.
Doctor's on. Anything in it, Smithy?
Well, we always have to take our hats off to the physios because in rugby league especially, with the kind of game it is, they get on really quickly, don't they? They don't wait for anything. If somebody's down with a serious injury, they are trained to get on there so quickly.
I can't say who he is, but he was clearly seriously injured. He couldn't get out, he couldn't get off the tackle, and then he just flopped onto the floor.
I think it could be Pickett's, I think. Joe Pickett's, I think.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, it's got his head in the wrong place, hasn't he?
It is Joe Pickett's.
Yep.
Yeah,
he's just sat down there, hasn't he, in the chair, and just got his head down, so his head gets in the wrong position and collides with the knee there of Riley, isn't it? Bang.
He's sitting up, that's good.
Yeah, I watch that, yeah.
And we're watching that rather sickening image. It is good to tell you that Joe Pickett's, as Brian says, is sitting up now. Well, he's going to be a bit groggy. He's going to feel a little nauseous, isn't he?
He's coming off, is he?
Yeah. Maybe none too good tomorrow morning when he wakes up, but nice friendly round of applause from the Swinton supporters as he makes his way to the sidelines.
I was going to tell you when I got near him, mate. I thought it was a push, and there was a punch. Right.
Was he with you at Castleford, Joe Pickett's? A while back?
I can't remember. If he was, he would have been in the youth teams. If he was.
It was a while ago, wasn't it? Your memory's going as well. You're at Castleford on Saturday, aren't you?
I am indeed, yep. I'm in the club shop there, trying to sell a few more of these testimonial brochures. You've only got one chance to
buy any of the 5 that still remain.
Do your best to...
He had 10 printed, and he's only got 5 left. So get yourself to Castleford on Saturday.
Oh, you didn't buy one, would you, at me dinner, did you?
Well, I will buy. I'll buy one before the night is out.
There'll be 6 sales, Hendo. You bought 4 of them.
Here's Nicholson, done well here. Try scorer, of course. Matt Nicholson. 6-6 the scoreline. Johnston helps it on again. The Swinton defence trying to ensure that York are kept inside their own half for as long as possible. There's tackle 5, so it will be a kick from their own territory. Back it goes to Brown again, who just evades the oncoming defender. And Penny is up there, showing some of those basketball skills from his youth with a very good take over his head.
Very well. Hawkyard. One more skip and Hawkyard was through there.
Watson. Just trying to get it on again, and Mendeka, another try scorer in this game. Another ex-Warrington player. He's been on loan at London this season, the Irish international. Here's Darren Hawkyard. And here comes Watson again. Now Penny down this right-hand side. I think we've seen him more on the right-hand side than we've seen on the left-hand side, Kevin Penny.
The coach has told him to get his carries up.
Here's Richie Hawkyard again.
5, move Jack! Hold here, wait,
the problem is here now, if they kick it to the left, they're going to miss him, aren't they? But they're not. They're going to kick it to the right anyway. Watson plants it over here. Flockhart is the man who's picked out once again, but it was a simple enough catch. But Watson, good half-back play, having put the kick in, is the first man there to make the tackle and stop Flockhart where he stands. Oh, Watson again. It's two consecutive tackles.
He's done something tonight, isn't he?
Watson. We've seen him drive it up. We've seen him kicking the ball. We've seen him being the general at the heart of things. Still remains a massive influence in this Swinton side. That's Scott. Sam Scott.
Go, good, 4.
There's Lee. Johnston, now freer. It's rolling into those defenders on what is tackle 5. So here's the last. Back it goes to Brown again, who's drilling it towards touch. Take his forwards down there, give them a bit of a breather, and make Swinton work hard from deep inside their own half this time.
Smart kick. I think Swinton would just physically get it on top there. And I think a little bit of rest that they'll get from the kick to the sideline will do York more good than it will do Swinton.
Both teams certainly in this arm wrestle well and truly, aren't they? And I think you pointed out earlier in the call, Brian, both playing quite conservative, getting to the end of sets, a lot of dummy half carries in there, a lot of scoots, a lot of drop-off plays, and just getting to the end of sets and getting to their kicks. And but I do think the Swinton, Reece Williams, Kevin Penny, they're starting to get a little bit of joy. And we just start to see Mark Smith picking the ball up a little bit now too, as they start to get a little bit of a roll. Like you said, I think it was a smart kick there from Brown just to regroup, and now they've got to bar up defensively now the Knights. It was Reece Williams again. He's been strong out of dummy half tonight.
Well, if Penny's been prominent on the right, Nicholas Williams having a look on the left. And Swinton gathering a little bit of momentum here as they go as well towards that halfway line. There's a dummy run provided, and Williams is able to take it in. In fact, it's not Williams, is it? Is it Riley who's taking it in here?
Riley, yep.
Yes, it is. Picked up by Mark Smith. Watson handing it on for Morrison. Tackle 5. But a decent position to launch an attacking kick here, maybe. Up it goes, off the boot of Mark Smith. Tom Carr's underneath it with a timely leap, but he's dropped it. A little bit of pressure going on in the end. Carr just whacks it behind the dead ball line.
I don't know, was he hitting the air there?
Well, the referee's given a knock on, hasn't he?
No, he's timed it well.
Timed really well,
he's timed it well.
Jack, be careful, it's escort.
So head and feet here for Swinton, isn't it?
He's timed that really well, actually, because he was going in for it, wasn't he? And he realised, hang on, I better not make the challenge. And as soon as his feet were in the hand, bang, he was in there and forced the ball loose. Good play there from Smith. I wasn't sure if the kick was any good there when it first came off his boot.
Short of a ball here for a moment, but now we have one. Ian Watson is the man to feed it here. In it goes. Swinton 10 metres out and 6 tackles to have a real go here. It's McNannon coming back on the cross. Puts Bold back to Sarsfield. And they're back to where they started from here, aren't they? That's exactly where the scrum was taken. Here's Smith again. Driven in by Riley. Battling in, good muscular effort, but decent defending. Nicholson amongst those to prevent him any glory. And a timely play. I think it might have been a knock-on anyway. The referee's given an advantage there and decides there isn't any in the end. But a tiny little run there from Ed Smith, because I think if that pass had got past him, there might have been trouble there for York, might not.
Well, I think he was actually looking to pass it back on the inside, to be honest. I think he saw that he'd shot out the line there. Yes, he was, and I saw the space it was on the inside there, because obviously Smith had shot out the line. It left the space back on the inside because the A defender hadn't worked hard with him. Harvey saw that and tried to exploit that, but like I say, Smith just did enough to get his hand and knock the ball down. So another opportunity for the Lions.
It's a repeat set. Liam Hume having a go at the back of that scrum. Put down 5 metres away. Swick back again. Oh, that looks a little high. A little high on Sarsfield, but the referee says play on. Smith puts it back to Watson. Watson across the Hawkyard. Darren Hawkyard with Swinton's second try. There was an air of inevitability to all that, wasn't there? Given the countless amount of pressure they had on that line.
Not just the pressure, but they got caught for numbers, and I think it's Lattis that tries to come out of the line and solve it, which allows Hawkyard to go through it's Watson that goes through the hole, and all he has to do is find Darren Hawkyard on the outline, and it's an easy score for him. And unfortunately, with Lattis coming out the line there, he can't get back.
So York, having led, find themselves trailing by 10 points to 6. And if this goes over, then it's 12 at 6.
Are you calling on 10 there, Sam?
So an opportunity here
Sam,
for Craig Harvey. This is an interesting tale as well. We've told this a time or two, but it's worth repeating. He was at Warrington, wasn't he? And then packed it all in a couple of years ago because he had a really good IT job in the oil industry. Fell out of the professional game, but then Gary Chambers obviously knows him from those Warrington days and talked him into coming back for Swinton earlier this season. And I'm sure he's glad he did now, because that 2 points makes it 12 points to 6.
Yeah.
Watson's the opportunity, see, isn't he? It's actually Flockhart that shoots out the line, and a little bit harsh on Lattis. On the last call, it was Flockhart that opens up the opportunity for a straight run through.
Yeah, and it was just a case of they made the tackle, they didn't readjust, they didn't number up properly, they didn't get their spacing right, they were too tight around the play the ball, and it left their outside men exposed. And Flockhart tries to make the decision and solve it on his own, and smart play from Watson. He sees that and puts Hawkeye with the short ball, gets into that space, and try time. So
here's Sami Terui, who's off from the bench, the Algeria-born prop forward. And Swinton, having made the changes, is that Mills who's on as well?
Swinton are looking physically stronger now.
Here comes Mark Smith. Yeah, Mills is on as well, isn't he? Dave Mills. They've rotated their big men up front, and here comes the first of those again, Sami Terui. 5 tackles gone. And Swinton on a roll here. Behind Mills it's into the hands of Harvey. Harvey with a really nicely judged kick again here. Kevin Penny with a tackle, forces it behind the dead ball line. There might have been a claim for offside there, because
me too.
He was in the field of play. He wasn't in the in-goal area, was he?
Kevin Penny was onside. But I think he chases it. There's 2 or 3 within the 10 there. They were offside.
Well, the touches haven't picked it up. Oh, yeah, well in front. Well in
Penny's
front.
a chance of being offside, and they're within the 10. That should be a penalty.
Should be. That's the rule, isn't it?
Yes, Brian, let's go. Time
that is the rule.
Well, no doubt.
But apart from that, it still was a great set from Swinton. They made easy yards. The impetus and momentum is certainly with the Lions at the moment. They are rolling.
There's David Mills with a drive. It is all blue just at the moment as the sun comes out and shines down on us as well. Driven in by Sarsfield.
Good, go.
Here's Mark Smith up from dummy half again, and Mick Nannin comes in from that left centre's position and bowls the offload away to Harvey, who's trying to get away from a pesky defender, but Johnston, that defender, hangs on and makes sure the tackle is complete. Smith, Nannin bowling on again, and again the offload, and back it comes, and here's Harvey. Harvey having a reach but not quite making it. Smith again. York's line is at Swinton's mercy, you feel, at the moment. Watson wrapped up well enough in the tackle. Good work from Sam Scott. This is the 6th. Back it comes to Richie Hawkyard. Chip for the corner. Reese Williams just sees it bounce away. And York survives somehow.
Hanging on there, weren't they?
Hanging on. I think Swinton, they needed to put the ball out the back early. They shouldn't have done the line play there. They should have put it straight out the back and promoted the football from there, because York again was struggling for numbers, and the fact that they did the line play, then turned it up to the man out the back, it just gave the York defenders a little bit more time there to readjust. But again, he was almost caught out with a kick behind, and Swinton well and truly, are on top at the moment, boys.
This is, in the last few minutes, a real representation of the form that both have brought into this game, isn't it? Swinton with their confidence up after that terrific win over Featherstone, and the close-ish game against Lee, against the York side that cannot buy a result at the moment. 6 defeats on the bounce, but here come York trying to restore a bit of faith and a bit of confidence. Stenchen on for the bench, offloads, picked up by Lee. With a scamper. Oh, the pass is not a good one. It's gone to ground. Mick Nannin picks it up. Referee says play on.
Did he not knock it on?
Well, referee saying that he's not played at it.
And on again by Terui.
Go.
Didn't seem to be much danger of Mick Nannin going 40 yards there, did there? Anyway, here we go to this right-hand side. It's
good
Darren
tackle.
Hawkyard.
Great tackle.
Had to be made as well, Flockhart.
Go.
Watson. Mills. David Mills tackled, but within sight of that line. That was a little scruffy, more than scruffy. It was a knock-on, and it's another big escape here for York.
Just look at the York, some of the York players, the hands are on the knees, bit of their body language, hands on hips, and they've got to show some character here. I know the scoreline's still, they're still definitely well within the game. There's plenty of time. We're just having a look now on the screens whether he's played at the football or not.
Bind in on me. Wait to tell you, Jack.
The referee judged it to be play on, that he was going in for the tackle and didn't attempt to knock the ball down. But Anyhow.
Now, there's the debate that we saw on the Super League game from a number of weeks ago, whether the ball was in his hand when he passed it, whether they knocked it forward or not. Be interested to see at half-time whether the ball had left his hands when he actually plays at that, because it's a knock-on if it is, so I'm told.
Here's Aldous.
Jack Aldous.
Yeah, he played well last week, Aldous, for York. He's goes forward well for him.
He's well liked by his teammates, and he was Player of the Year last year, wasn't he, Jack Aldous, at this club? Here's Jack Lee. Scurry and a scamper, but into a little triangle of willing defenders. Simon Brown. Johnston is carrying it nicely again, and Ryan Malinder, who's on from the bench, is going to be pulled down, but only 20 metres away. So 6th tackle coming up. Johnson will run up from dummy half. The kick is not really the best, and it's easily diffused and dropped on that far side by Craig Harvey.
Well, it's not the worst result, because it's only 10 metres out, but it wasn't the best way to finish a set, was it? But the result and where they're at, they'll settle for that with the pressure they've been under the last 3 sets.
I totally agree there, Brian.
There's Penny.
Hold, Scotto.
Here's Mark Smith.
Good goal.
At dummy half, this now is Tarui.
4. Move.
Trying to toe up down the middle, but he's dealt with adequately.
This 4 now.
Good offload from Brown.
After this tackle,
they're keeping alive here. Here's Penny. And Mills. And Richie Hawkyard. And just unpicking this York defence, taking them more metres downfield. Kick over the top should be dealt with here by George Elliott. And run out
good kick chase
by Craig Harvey.
Position, releases. Wait. Go.
They're going to have to start looking at trying to hit and stick a bit better to York defensively. I think Swinton now are just starting to get too many offloads, too much second phase play, and if that continues to happen, it's going to just burn the juice out of the York players. Flockhart coming in field now, beats one. Tries to get straight over the top of the Swinton player there.
Wait. Go, good, Darren.
That's a good carry as well. 2 good carries to start the set with.
Release, 3. Wait. Go, good.
Here's Lee. In by Aldous.
4.
Good footwork at the line, hasn't he, Aldous?
I like him, you know. Yeah, he's an honest player, and he said he does a lot of work from a lot of good quality work for him too.
Oh, nice hands
nice
until the
play.
very final pass. Carr knocking on.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Knock on by Swinton, wasn't it?
Like it bounced off the hands of the chest of Carr here.
Well, the York players are asking the question, Brian.
Oh, you might be right.
Yeah.
You might be right. James Mundaka got fingertips in there.
No, I thought he did.
Could do with DRS, really, couldn't we? Snicko and
DRS
the hotspot.
Yeah.
Unless he's wearing silicone on his fingertips.
Could be.
It's all right.
Well, the referee's asking here.
I don't know if he is he asking?
Was he just holding up?
I think he's just doing I think Mark Smith's got to cut the head there, but it was a nice little play there.
Yeah.
You know, Jack Lee jumps out, holds the markers, gets to Brown, he tries to drag his defender and turn it back inside to a nice little play. But it come off. I think it would have opened up for him. He was through.
I think Mundaka had to play the ball, really, or he was through. I mean, Swinton have got there and feed it. That's got me.
Here's Rhys Williams for Swinton now. 10 minutes, 9.5 minutes of this first half remaining. 12 points to a Swinton side who have been dominant for the last 20 minutes or so.
Good tackle there.
6 to York.
What was that underneath there? Stenchen. Underneath, good drive back, nice.
Here comes Mills. David Mills taking it in. Mark Smith at dummy half, picks up, collects, looks at that left-hand side where Sarsfield is a willing runner again. I think Nanin was hoping for a pass there. Sarsfield swallowed up by a couple of eager York defenders. This now is Harvey. Tarui putting himself and his body forward, but without any great effect on that occasion. That's the 5th. Here comes the last again. It's going to be a kick from Harvey. High and testing. Elliott underneath it. Penny with a leap in the air. He got hands to it there, Kevin Penny. He's got it from his point of view, but picked up by Lattis on that far side and put out of play. So Swinton get a result there. A real lucky result.
Well, it's one of them ones, isn't it? You know, it comes back. Does Ford really need to collect this football?
Well, I think Ford needs to go early for it, Hendo. Go get it now and get in.
You know what I mean?
Call, I suppose, yeah.
I just think, does he need to really go in for it?
Does he let the Swinton bloke pick it up and then barrel in?
And bang it, that's what I mean. Or does he just let the ball, would the ball got to touch? I don't know. And again, it's little plays like that, isn't it? Like, you know, making those decisions.
Here's James Brown, put forward, packing down at loose forward to add a bit of weight and bulk. It's picked up by Harvey quickly. Hawkyard puts it back on the inside here. Mundaka. With a lovely offload from Mundaka to Watson. Oh, and Watson's bumped to the ground.
I don't know why he didn't pass here, Watson.
The shock of the hit. It was a big hit there, was it, Scott? Here's Tarui drawing defenders towards him. 4 in the end. And he still keeps his feet and wants to wrestle them off and play it. And here comes Watson again. Left it goes. Harvey trying to get rid of defenders. Can't do so. So Watson stands in that familiar position once more. High grab as Swinton keep it alive. Oh, they've lost a bit of momentum here. Richie Hawkyard put down there, 15 yards out, and here comes the last tackle. Right it comes again here. All the way right, little kick towards that in-goal area, and the chase as well, but Carr is across very, very quickly to put it out of play.
Yeah, great kick from Mundaka there, well weighted, and, you know, I'll tell you what, York, you know, they scrambled well. They're hanging on. They scrambled well. Mate, they've beat tested that set, and I knew that was a big set for them, but they've got to do it again. And they're scrambling well. They're turning up for each other, but again, they're very vulnerable here on this left edge defence and fringe defence here. Their numbers, a lot of space out here. They're covering, you know, with defenders. So I think if Swinton keep attacking this edge, I think they might have some more joy.
Jordan Burke picks it up and hands it on the inside to Samir Tarui.
Go.
Here's Watson. Brown. James Brown.
2. Move. Hold here, Jack.
Watson. Mills, first man there, helps it on, and the short pass to Sarsfield, who's stretching. They had a hold of his shirt, they needed to hold on more than that. And Sarsfield with a big arm stretches out. And again, a try that Swinton have threatened. They finally break that York resistance.
Well, the dam broke in the end, didn't it? All that pressure, the back-to-back set. They go up the right side. We're calling the left side of York, but it's the offload. Harvey releases Sarsfield and he keeps his legs pumping. Good grip on the ball and slams the blank over the line. Hits the hole really well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and it's a great finish too.
Just a drag there, is it Johnson who was
Johnson, but Johnson obviously got attracted by Harvey. He came in, he tried to then bounce back out to rescue the situation, but like I said, Sarsfield had just punched a great line at pace, and Johnson was obviously just trying to hang on there and do whatever he could to stop the play, but it was a great finish by young Sarsfield. But then again, they just had the numbers, and I said that offload again was a nice turn up there from Mills and promoting the ball onto Harvey, and then he just does the work with a nice little short ball there to Sarsfield hitting a good line. But I think, as Brian pointed out, it was the weight of possessions just finally told, and York were hanging on.
Well, Harvey's missed, so it's his first miss of the night, 2 out of 3 from Craig Harvey's point of view, but 16 points to 6 with half-time looming here. I mean, what York, we've not had a penalty so far tonight, by the way. But what York cannot afford to do is concede again before half-time.
No, they can't. That's a great point, Dave, because at 16-6, they're still in the game, believe it or not. You know, there's still a lot of time in this game, and we've seen, haven't we, especially here on Thursday nights, how momentum can swing and change, and all of a sudden you think a team's in control of a game and commanding a game, and all of a sudden, you know, they come unstuck. So York have still definitely got the ability and the opportunity to get themselves back into the game. But, you know, rightly so, Dave, you know, they don't want to be conceding now before half-time, because I think it would just be maybe possibly a too big a mountain to climb for them. But Swinton are well and truly on top. You know, certainly, you know, physically on top, speed of the play ball, the speed of the ruck, the offloads, you know, they're making the meters, kicking game and kick chase has been good. You know, they've had I think they've really controlled this first half really well.
Here's a kick from Harvey. He's behind that 40-metre line, so he'll be hoping for a bounce that spins it away, but it doesn't bounce the way he would have wanted.
Still a fair kick when you look at the chase.
Yeah.
You know, looking at this Swinton performance here tonight and looking at the results they've had recently, the 12-10 against Featherstone, the 32-22 defeat against Lee, so picking up a bonus point. Those are not the results, and this is not the performance of a side who've laboured towards a foot of the table this year, is it?
No. They've had a lot of destruction. I mean, Gary Chambers mentioned it at the start of the game. They've had a lot of changes in personnel. And he's had a settled team for a few weeks, and they got into a rhythm, and they look physically good and look physically stronger than York do at the moment. So that will be pleasing their coach. So I think it's that element of stability that's helping them, Dev.
Well, after tonight, 3 games left after tonight for Swinton. Doncaster away. Doncaster looking to hang on to that 8th spot, of course, in the playoffs. Barrow at home. Barrows might still be troubled by relegation as well, so that'll be a big game. And then Whitehaven away, and that's going to be a tough one to go to, isn't it? Dave Wood's side looking not just for the top 8, but for a top 6 finish as well. So it's a testing time, but as one of the coaches said, I'm not sure which, there are no easy games in the Championship anyway, so you can analyse all you like, really, can't you?
Well, it'd be silly to get your ready reckoner out and say, well, we'll pencil a W in here and an L there, and because you just rock up and you get it all wrong.
Absolutely, and the other thing as well is every team at this moment in time coming towards us back and has something to play for. You've got 2 teams here that are in a bit of a relegation dogfight. You've got teams that are trying to get into the top 8, teams that are trying to secure a top 4 position. You know, everybody is playing for something at the moment. So every game and every turn you come up against, you know, want to win and want to do as best they can. So they're all tough propositions.
James Brown puts Swinton in decent position at the end of this set. The little jab kick over the top by Jordan Burke will bounce and is collected safely enough by Dougie Flockhart, who runs back at that line. And
it's high, wasn't it?
That was a high shot.
Reach from Teroui.
Oh, he's let that one go.
The old Algerian kiss, that, wasn't it, from Teroui? I love you, really. I love you, really. Ooh. What happened next? That's what happened next.
What part of his chest is that?
That is Ford.
That was a forward pass. The referee says play on, but that was certainly a knock-on from James Ford.
Well, the officials need to get a grip here. I mean, we let a head high go. We've missed a few knock-ons. We've missed a forward pass. That was a mile forward. Have a look at this.
Sammy, the shot's the borderline.
Good couple of metres in front there.
Do you reckon?
It's forward, mate. Look forward to me.
Knock on, aren't you?
You thought it was a line ball, Dave?
Yeah, I thought it was a line ball, yeah. If he carried on running, it was the fact that he was stopped kind of exacerbated that, really. If he carried on running, it would have, I don't know, Brian Noble's given me one of those looks that
I
used to get when I was 6-year-old off my dad and I'd done something stupid.
New lenses he's got in his glasses there. You need your binoculars, Dave. They're just here, mate.
Here comes Penny.
Hold here, wait!
Penny's tackled, 35 metres out, Swinton looking for.
This is a massive defensive set for
York. Massive is the word.
Wait.
Might be a really big moment here. Penalty. Penalty for Swinton. Now, what do they do here? 40 seconds left to play. Go for goal. That's what Ian Watson has already decided.
He decided that.
Pointing at the sticks. What do you reckon?
I'd be tempted to go, mate. Play on. We're rolling. You know.
Stay on. Stay behind the kicker.
You got a York side that are. You look at the body language of them. You know, they're under the pump.
You're holding him in. You're bouncing the floor.
I reckon I would have played.
I'll tell you something. You bounce on the floor. You're slower than the defender getting off you, so you're causing a fit.
But I can see the reason why he's taken the 2 as well.
It's not Super League, mate. It's Championship. This. A bit slower, isn't it? It's not as quick as Super League.
So a chance here for Craig Harvey to extend that gap. Oh, he's put it wide. He's put it wide. So Harvey missing the penalty right at the end of that first half, which Swinton have no doubt absolutely dominated, leading as they do by 16 points to 6. The chance to give them the 12-point lead missed, but they'll still be fairly happy, Swinton, who lead York at half-time by 16 points to 6.
Kingston Press Cider, official partner of the England Rugby League team. For real